Hello, good afternoon, evening, morning, whichever it is for you. What I was going to show you is some basic automation and how to go ahead and create a email. Automation can be used in a lot of different ways, but this is just the email through SQL Server. What you could do with this is, it really varies. I've used it anywhere from telling me who's got access to whatever system, or if I want to send a cumulative results, I can always do a cumulative results for myself. An example would be I want to know how many hours a week I've worked this week, or if I want to know for my whole team or company how many hours a week each individual has done, you could always do it that way. Or if I just want to do something as basic as shift bids or shift schedules, this will actually show you how to do that. This is all going to be done via email. Um, so let's go ahead and start. First thing I usually do is just set up like a declare statement. So I'm going to declare a variable. That's actually going to be for my HTML, so a basic format. What we're kind of looking at is something along this nature. This is just a quick example. So this will give you a shift ID, the name of the shifts, and the start and the end time. And this could be an automated email process. Like I said, whatever it is just a query that we're going to gather, and we're just going to format it to HTML format, and then auto set up an email for it. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and declare. In fact, let's copy and paste some of this over, and you can copy it if you'd like, or this kind of follow the same concepts um, that I'm setting up here real quick for you. So if it's going to be an email format and you're going to do HTML, I always do like a varchar max. Yeah, you can clean it up, count whatever you need to, but ultimately I'm formatting it to something I could use real quick. The next part I'm actually going to do, and I'll kind of pause in between, set up my head, then we'll do border, and then we'll do our padding to kind of set up that layout for that HTML. So similar concept is actually I was writing some basic HTML with some CSS styling. This first section where it's doing the header, text, CSS, I'm setting that line to left. If you look at that snippet, it looks like it's on center. If you did center, it's actually going to throw it off. It's not going to be too even. This is the way I kind of have it set up at this moment, and it works for me. The next is kind of going to be the border around that whole HTML. Pretty basic when it comes down to basic HTML. And then the table data and the padding that I'm putting in between these. And then lastly, we're doing the border styling and closing out that head. Lastly, it would be setting up the columns. Like I said, in this case, I used AdventureWorks to go ahead and set this up. And we'll shift tab that over to try to even it out. It's awesome. And then lastly, we're just going to go ahead and cast our SQL statement. Like I said, this is the basic SQL statement to go ahead and show you, our shift schedule. In this case, we'll just cast this. And then I'll sheet copy the rest of the table data information in there. I do a coalesce and kind of even it out. This tab. All right, I guess this is fighting me a little bit. Whatever. All right, cool. That'll work. And then lastly is just the standardize from and order by. At the bottom, you can kind of see I'm using the for XML path for the table rows, type as varchar max, and then closing out that table for the rest of our SQL statement. And then what I do below, just kind of finish it off, is I use the store procedure, which is store procedure. It comes with all SQL servers. Well, at least 2012 and newer that I've seen. Is this that send dbMAIL? And these are requirements. We need to know who the recipient is. The body, would this be that variable that I declared, which is all this information in there. The format, which in this case is going to be HTML, query results header, and the subject. After we have this, we can actually send this out. It'll execute, and we will go ahead and get that email. So you'll actually see it in that format. Now, if you're having an issue, just to kind of help troubleshoot through some of the process, and that's if you have dbMAIL set up, you can use the standardized system.ml items. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste these here. You can pause it, take a look at them. But what the system.ml does is it actually shows you. The first one will say all the ones that you have actually sent using dbMAIL. The next one will be any unsent items that are still pending. And lastly is going to be any items that have failed. So if you're first setting up dbMAIL, sometimes this is a little bit of a pain, depending on how you're setting it up. I went ahead and used Gmail for this demo. That one was a little bit trying, but there are several different tutorials out there to kind of show you and guide you along how to get that set up. Ultimately, for me, it came down to a security thing. And then that would be your failed items. All right, so lastly, if you want to send this up as a regular job, something that's automated, you can set up a nice clean store procedure. If you already have a job that runs all your store procedures, you can do something of that nature. If not, you can always go down here into your SQL jobs and just go ahead and create a new job. In this case, you could name it whatever you'd like. I'm just going to go ahead and let's call it test mail. And then I always set this up by essay. This part isn't really that important. It could be a data collector is usually what I do. Let's say uncategorized for now. And it's good to put a description on there. Next, you would just hit OK. Wow, that was awesome. Hello. No, whatever. No, I don't want this. Yeah, I want to. Let's go ahead and refresh. And we can go ahead and go to properties. All right, so this is where you need to be, is steps. It's one below general. That's what's going to automate that whole process. Let's go ahead and hit new. In this case, you can just use transect, like a SQL script, or you can use SSIS if you have that set up, but we're not going to go over any of that right now. In this case, I would this be run job. Run it as, I don't have any of that set up yet, so I guess not too great on that side, but all you would ultimately have to do is just grab all that information and throw it in here. Hit OK. Set up your schedule. Set up your schedule. And this would be the schedule that you would set up to run that job. So in this case, you would name it. I'm just going to call it run job. You can make it recurring. You can make it weekly. You can make it daily. You can, if you're dealing with other data that's going to be near real time, you could even sort it out to runs every day and then however many hours, minutes, seconds. So that gives you a lot of versatility in options that you have, but this depends on the data that you're working with. From here, you can go ahead and hit OK, and it's going to go ahead and automate that process and set everything up. And actually, your DBA would have to have a lot of different things set up here to get everything going. But once you go ahead and get that process running, all you have to do is go back, start. I always disable the job first, then I start that job at step. And from there, you can go ahead and make sure everything's working and everything's fully automated. All right. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and post them down below. Thank you. Bye.